Hi, Jewish Mom. So today is the 15th birthday of my daughter Mayan, which reminds me that it's also the 15th anniversary of one of the scariest events, scariest things that I've ever gone through in my mothering career. Um, the day that I gave birth to my daughter on Lag BaOmer. What happened was we asked some friends from the neighborhood. We don't have any family in Israel. In births after that, and then my mother-in-law would come and she would watch the kids while I was giving birth. But for some reason this time it was my third birth. So we just asked a friend from the neighborhood, like a family, to watch our two daughters, who were then 4 and 2. And what happened was this family brought our two daughters along with their kids to the neighborhood bonfire. At the neighborhood bonfire, um, then uh, then it's a whole long story, but the fire got out of control. And one father and one mother from this neighborhood, I'm sorry, it was a shul bonfire, um, were badly injured. One was in the hospital for a month. I'm sorry, they got very badly burned. And another father took him weeks to recover from the very bad burn. And so my daughters, my 2-year-old and my 4-year-old, were kind of lost in the kind of chaos that ensued after it was a time when there were a lot of terror attacks. People thought like there had been a terror attack. People were running around screaming. My daughters kind of got lost in the chaos that ensued. And thank God, I think after like a few minutes, then they realized, okay, like where are the Friedman? I'm sorry, where are the Weisberg kids? And then they took them home. But still to this day, one of my daughters who was there, this is 15 years ago, she said, I don't like Lag BaOmer. She said, I think because of what happened that night at the shul bonfire. It's something that was very, very scary. And, the mother and father, Ima and Abba, were at the hospital, having another baby. And it's something that I look back on and I just feel bad. I feel bad that this happened and there was nothing that I could do. And at that time, we made the best possible decision with the information that we had. And since then there've also been, other things that have happened in my children's lives. And I wish that I'd had, let's say various decisions that I've made and end up having, a negative impact on my children. And I wish that I wish that hindsight was also 2020. I'm sorry. I wish that foresight. I wish that we had that I could have seen with the 2020 vision that I have now about this situation or this person or this whatever, that I could have fully and completely protected my children. And I think this is an experience that all of us have had, and it's very, very hard. Like knowing that a child was hurt because of something that you did. Knowing I think almost in all circumstances, just like because we didn't have complete information or just something happened that was out of our control, it makes us feel very, very bad. So I wanted to share an article on this topic that I read in the New York Times by Dr. Perry Klass, who writes about I don't know if this is a man or woman. I'm assuming for some reason. I'm assuming maybe it's a woman, Perry. I'm not sure. So I'm gonna assume it's a woman saying she. So she writes about an experience that she had as a parent where something happened where one of her children was hurt. Okay. So she writes, what's the worst thing you ever did as a parent? What's the judgment call you would give anything to reverse the regret that keeps you up at night? We've all got them. It goes with the territory. Some of the sharpest are medical. When a parent feels responsible that a child is sick or hurt. As a pediatrician, I have sat with parents who are beating themselves up over and over for the choices they had made. I took my eyes off my child for a minute, and something terrible happened. My child ran into the street, stuck his hand into the machine, fell down the stairs. As a doctor, I can be particularly hard on myself because I feel I ought to bring all of my expertise to bear on my own children. I let one of my children get pretty badly sunburned as a toddler. I'll spare you the complex explanations of how and why, but I understood immediately that this, in some sense, negated my whole existence, that I had failed as a parent, a pediatrician, and a person. I've had plenty of other regrets, but maybe none of them quite so overpowering, so complete and desolate as that sunburn. I took my sunburned child to the pediatrician, who had been one of my own clinical teachers in residency, Dr. Gerald Haas, who is now retired from his practice in Cambridge, Massachusetts. But I called him the other day to ask, does he remember the sunburn and the visit now 20 years in the past? I remember it as if it was yesterday, he said. You came in tears, and I think you left feeling a little better. That's my memory. I asked him if he remembered that he very kindly told me a story about inadvertently spilling hot coffee on one of his own children years earlier. The little anecdote helped you, he said. My son, he recalled, was doing okay. It was not a horrible burn, and he was obviously going to get better. But telling you that wasn't as helpful as saying, well, I remember what happened to my own child. Of course, we should all learn the appropriate health and safety morals. Sunscreen, 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 and for that matter, bike helmets, seatbelts, vaccines, and take care with those hot liquids. But things will still go wrong, and you will beat yourself up and blame yourself, and if you're lucky, the child will be okay, and maybe it will help to hear a story in solidarity and sympathy, reminding you that all of us make a million tiny daily decisions and judgment calls. We are, none of us, perfect, he was saying. Senior doctors and junior doctors, pediatricians and parents, and Jewish moms. Anyone who loves their kids must have this feeling that they betrayed them, or they let them down, or they feel they didn't do the right thing, or they weren't careful enough, and that is so normal, Dr. Haas said. Okay, so in conclusion, all of us make mistakes. All of us, I think, have things that we've done that even if at the time we couldn't have, like we didn't have enough information to protect our children, then I think that all of us have situations in which we wish that we had been there to completely protect them and keep them safe, and so everything in their lives would be completely perfect and safe and wonderful, and and that's it's not possible. It's not possible in our children. I once heard like a saying, which I think is very smart, that when you give birth, it's like your heart is walking around outside of your body. Okay, it's like we're like so vulnerable, having these children going all these places and living their lives, and there's no way that we can completely protect them. And so I just want to say, as the senior doctor said to the junior doctor, you're not alone. Like, we all go through this. It just, as this author said, as Dr. Perry Class says, it just goes with the territory. Okay? And I hope that just knowing that you're not alone in that, it'll bring you some comfort. Okay? I want to bless all of you Jewish ones with an amazing week. Kol Tov.